Hi, my name is Ikenna. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Biological and Agricultural Engineering at Kansas State University. My presentation is titled In Silico Evidence for Improving Irrigated Maize Productivity Based on Double Haploid Traits and Agronomic Management Under Climate Change. So, we all can agree that irrigation is the highest water consumer in the world, accounting for almost 70% of freshwater withdrawal. However, with climate change, irrigation demand for some crops will likely, increase, which will likely result in the depletion of global freshwater resources. And so, thinking about increasing irrigation water use in order to improve productivity will likely result in unsustainable water withdrawal without yield improvement. And so, the question is, how do we use less water to produce more food? In addition to this question, we're also going to be battling with more population increase as we go into the future, which will require more food production. So what do we do? So in order for us to meet the expected grain demand, breeding strategies must balance effective agronomic practices while taking into account the spatial exploitative features of cropland. And so we keyed into this narrative to be able to define two-level objectives, which are to simulate regional maize productivity by exploring group-level spatially varying soils and climate, and then finally to assess maize yield potential based on double haploid traits and agronomic management under climate change. Our study area is located in the north region of Kansas, as you can see on the screen. Our study, as you can see on the screen here, employed a spatial model framework whereby we simulated irrigated maize productivity at the finest scale possible by fitting a 4 by 4 kilometer regular trace within the region. The essence of this is to be able to find desert locations where irrigated maize is growing, and then we're able to couple that with a deficit irrigation strategy that assess reduced water intake by the crops. So with that, we're able to first of all acquire the irrigated map of the region that encompasses all kinds of crop grown in that region. But we also found the maize acreage, which has both the rain-fed maize production and irrigated maize production. And finally, we found the spatial soil distribution. At the end of the day, we're able to integrate these three layers of file together to be able to get desert locations where irrigated maize are growing, which we then pass into the crop simulation model to be able to simulate the end of season yield, which is of interest to the farmers, and also the amount of water used to produce that yield. So one of the objectives of this study is to assess the impact of double haploid adaptation strategies on yield and water use in the region. So with that, uh, so we're able to define three levels of adaptation, which are the genotype side of things, the agronomic side of things, and then the integrated, which couple genotype and agronomic together. On the genotype side of things, we were able to design cultivar idiotype that has increased radiation efficiency in terms of photosynthesis by 20%, and increasing light extinction coefficient by about 9%, and also improving the heat tolerance factor by increasing the temperature during the grain filling by 2 degrees. On the agronomic side of things, we were able to play with the original planting day by shifting that by 7 days behind, and also shifting that by 14 days behind, and then finally implementing a non-limiting nutrient strategy. The integrated approach has two levels. One is by merging the genotype and agronomic under non-limiting nutrient condition, and also merging the genotype and agronomic under limiting nutrient condition. For the sake of this post, I'm going to only be focusing on the non-limiting nutrient condition. So as you can see on the screen, this is our calibration result that shows the observed yield and simulated yield. You can see that our model was able to satisfactorily reproduce the observed and simulated yield. And also coming to the irrigation depth as well, among different years, you can see that our model was able to capture the irrigation water use based on irrigation water withdrawal from Weimar's data supplied by Kansas Geological Survey. So looking at the climate outlook with respect to growing season, so we found that precipitation in the region under historical condition, increases from west to east, which is typical for the region. Going into the future, we found similar pattern. However, what we found was in general that precipitation during the growing season was going to reduce by 16%. Looking at temperature, the temperature followed a different pattern, which reduces as we go from west to east. Similarly, as we go into the future, we can see similar pattern of temperature reduces from west to east. So the question is, how are this, the environmental climate, how is it going to translate to irrigated maize productivity? So what we found was that irrigated maize productivity under future climate change without adaptation reduced by 33%. So, but when we implemented adaptation strategy, we found that yield improved by about 50% relative to the future with no adaptation. On the flip side of things, when we compare this result with that of the baseline condition, we found that there's a deviation of about 0.8%, which is not significant. In fact, there are areas under future with adaptation that has more yield produced and interestingly use less water to produce that yield relative to the baseline condition. So in summary or conclusion, what we are saying is that maize yield decline in the future is not due to water stress, and yield improvement under climate change requires integrated approach without cropland expansion. And thirdly, maintaining historic irrigation water use will not save water nor improve yield. And finally, we found that deficit irrigation offers hope for water savings reaching up to 7% and yield improvement matching the historical condition. Thank you very much.